Hi, friends. Welcome to my channel, which is Ayurveda Diaries. This is a Talk to an Expert session. Today, I have the privilege of introducing my dear friend and a fellow Ayurveda consultant, Dr. Irfan Machand. Irfan is an allopathic doctor who turned to Ayurveda. Currently, he is a full-time Ayurveda consultant. In today's session, we are going to learn about his journey from allopathy to Ayurveda. Not only that, Irfan is a scholar of Bhagavad Gita, and I hope to get a glimpse of his knowledge of Bhagavad Gita today. Hi, Irfan. Welcome to my channel. How are you doing?
Hello, yes, I'm well, thank you.
Thanks a lot for joining me today. So I would like to learn a little bit about your journey from allopathy to Ayurveda. So can you just give me a background information of where you studied medicine, and after that, what happened? How did you get into Ayurveda? So the background information.
Yes, I studied medicine in Edinburgh,
Mhm.
um, and at the same time I did a degree in London in sociology as applied to medicine. So that gave me the tools to think about medicine and kind of take it apart, as it were.
Okay.
And then I worked for the NHS for 4 months, only for
Where
four,
was it?
in Edinburgh, in the
In
Western.
Edinburgh. So you went back to Edinburgh. Okay. Mhm.
So after 4 months, I left for multiple reasons. I was very disillusioned with the medical system, with the drugs we were prescribing, with the
Okay.
side effects and so on.
Okay. Okay. So the side effects. And then what happened? After going back to Edinburgh, did you leave practicing medicine? How did you learn about Ayurveda? How did you develop interest in Ayurveda?
Well, you see, first of all, I developed an interest in herbalism because there
Okay.
was a herbalist directly opposite the medical school.
Oh, okay.
So I used to go in there and I
Okay.
loved the environment, the smell of the herbs and
Yes.
this sort of thing. And then later on, while I was still at medical school, someone someone I didn't know very well, but she gave me a book on Ayurveda because she knew that I was disillusioned with medicine, that I wanted to try
Okay.
a different path. And that was Vasant Lad's book, Ayurveda, The Science of Self-Healing. So that was a really good introduction to
Mhm.
Ayurveda. This must have been in 1994 or something.
Right.
Um, I continued to take an interest in Ayurveda, but at that time I didn't know of any opportunities for training in Ayurveda.
Mhm.
And what I wanted to do at the time was to be a poet. So I was involved in writing a lot of poetry and publishing poetry.
That's very good.
So, yeah. So then it wasn't until later that I began to study Ayurveda, first with the American Institute of Vedic Studies,
Mhm.
David Frawley.
David Foley, yes. Yeah. Pandit Vamadeva Shastri. Yeah.
Yes. Um, so I studied, it was a correspondence course. I
Okay.
never actually finished that. Um, but I then went on to study in Ayurveda Pura Academy, as you know.
Right. Yeah. Both of us met there. We
Yeah.
studied together. Yeah. Okay. So that's very interesting journey, that from herbalism to Ayurveda. So now tell me, you do have the background of allopathy. How do you see these two systems? Are they complementary? Are they substitute to each other? Are they like, is it Ayurveda and allopathy, Ayurveda versus allopathy? Or how do you see in the real world?
The way I see it is that Ayurveda is the original, ancient, complete, and comprehensive
Mm.
system of medicine.
Mhm.
For various historical reasons, different aspects of Ayurveda have become diminished or
Mm.
disappeared, or almost disappeared in a way.
Right.
But as a as a complete system, it is total and comprehensive.
Mhm.
So the way it is in the world today, there's various aspects of allopathic medicine can complement
Mhm.
Ayurvedic healthcare, such
Okay.
as the surgical tradition of
Mm.
allopathy,
Right.
And then I think of things like intensive care or
Right.
emergency medicine, these kind of,
Okay.
some of these very technological aspects of
Allopathy.
medicine are very complementary to Ayurveda. But for most healthcare, I feel that Ayurveda meets the needs very well, you know.
Right. Right. So what you're saying is, uh, if I understand you correctly, you are saying that Ayurveda is the main healthcare system, and allopathy is the complementary.
Exactly, yes.
When there is a need, like emergency ICU type of a care, or,
Mhm.
or emergency surgery, because Ayurveda also has surgery, right? As we
Yeah.
learned, that Ayurveda actually avoids marma points.
Oh, yes.
And then Sushruta is the father of the surgery.
Absolutely.
So it's a very interesting thought process that Ayurveda, because being a holistic system, that it is the main healthcare system, and we use allopathy as and when needed.
Exactly.
Right. Um, so let me ask you, I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of future sessions with you, so where we can discuss the actual details of the holistic system, how it is a holistic system and all that. Um, and no, now let me come back to the UK, because you are born and raised in the UK,
Yeah.
as opposed to me, I was born in India, and then I went to the US, and then I moved to the UK. So as you know, I know that you would know more about UK. So how do you see the future of Ayurveda in the UK?
Well, I suppose there's an interesting question whether Ayurveda will stay as a minority
Hmm.
sort of discipline or whether it will expand. I mean, many more people know about Ayurveda nowadays.
Hmm.
Noticing that there are more and more books available on Ayurveda in the UK
Right.
in ordinary bookshops, which was unthinkable only 10 years ago or so.
Okay.
Um, where I see the development is that I would suggest that so far Ayurveda in the UK is more what I would call lifestyle Ayurveda. You
Hmm.
know, that kind of lot of things you get on the internet, like lifestyle hacks, and
Hmm.
you can add this into your lifestyle.
Hmm.
There's another dimension to Ayurveda, which is Ayurveda as a proper medical science,
Right. Yeah.
and I think we've yet to see that coming to the fore in the Ayurvedic world.
In
That's
the UK. Yeah.
in the UK, yeah.
Yeah, and because in India we do have like Ayurveda medical colleges and all that, and it is picking up as well. And yeah, I'm also seeing even in the last 5 years that I've been in the UK, I'm seeing year on year there is more exposure and more understanding of Ayurveda. But although it hasn't come into the mainstream as a like in a main medical system, but people are coming to us, the Ayurveda consultants, and they're asking us about diet and lifestyle changes that they can make complementary to the healthcare system that they have.
Yeah.
So uh, 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 we will do more detailed discussions. I wanted to introduce you to my audience at a high level today, so that later on when we discuss, the audience will have the background. So switching gears a bit. Um, whenever I talk to you, I really learn something new about Bhagavad Gita every time. How did the book that you gifted me, the Bhagavad Gita, written by the commentary written by Sri Dayananda Saraswati ji? How did you get into Bhagavad Gita, and how did you learn?
Well, I first learned of the Bhagavad Gita or first began to read the Bhagavad Gita in translation when I
Hmm.
was in my 20s, after I'd left the medical profession, and I was kind of wanting to connect with Indian literature, perhaps at that time,
Okay.
with the Vedic literature. Um, but it wasn't until about 5 years ago
Hmm.
after a kind of real personal crisis in my life where I myself was in intensive care for 3 months with pancreatitis. And it was like I had to start all over again, because when I came out of intensive care, I couldn't really walk. So I began walking, and there was a time when I couldn't eat or drink or anything. I was on a ventilator and all these things. So it was like starting again from scratch. And so I thought, well, what do I most want in my life? And it turned out to be the teaching of Vedanta. And it was through beginning to study Vedanta with Swami Dayananda and with his disciple Swamini Atma Prakashananda.
Can you say the name again?
Swamini Atma Prakashananda.
Okay, Atma Prakashananda.
She's in the UK. And she's a disciple of Swami Dayananda. So that was when I really connected with the Bhagavad Gita, particularly its teaching on karma yoga as a means of purifying the mind to prepare it for gaining the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of Atma.
Okay. And so did you find the practical application of Bhagavad Gita in your life?
Yes, I mean, I found it immensely powerful. It's really just a very simple change of our attitude towards the results of action.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Rather than we come to understand that the results of action are given by Ishvara, by the Lord. And so we accept them like prasad.
Right. Right.
You know, as a gift from the Lord, a blessing.
Okay. Yeah.
And people say it's either blessings or lessons. So I quite like that. And really there's, without getting either elated at success or depressed at failure.
Okay. Yes.
We maintain a kind of equanimity of mind.
Right.
And when we have that sameness of mind gives us the possibility of having a cheerful, relaxed mind. And so it becomes easier to listen to the great teachings of Vedanta.
Right.
Our Brahman, the self.
Right. See, one of the difficult concepts for me was Pravriti and Nurity, and you explained it very well. So I want you to explain it to my audience as well. Pravriti versus Nurity.
Yeah, Pravriti, one way we can understand it, I'll give a few ways of understanding it actually. One way is that Pravriti is like the outgoing path or the outward facing path. And Pravriti is like the inward facing path.
Okay.
So it's like when we are young, we go out into the world and we get entangled and involved in all sorts of projects or relationships or, you know, the whole material world we get entangled in.
Yes.
Our Pravriti journey.
Okay.
At some point, we come to our senses, as it were.
Okay.
Realize, oh, I'm not happy. Maybe I've been very successful in life, but I'm still not happy.
Right. Yeah.
I've failed and hit rock bottom. You know, and so we have that point where we reach the limit of our seeking for happiness in the material external world. And at that point, another possibility becomes available to us sometimes, or very, very often.
Right.
That is to begin the journey within.
Okay.
So the journey of meditation, the journey of yoga.
Okay.
Where we understand yoga as the inward journey.
Okay. So we, as we are growing up, we do an outward journey. And at some point of time, it dawns on to us that there is something else to life. And then we kind of come back and make an inward journey towards the yoga, the real yoga, which is the connecting with God. I mean, with Ishvara, the consciousness. Okay. So this is very interesting. Thank you, Irfan, for your time and a wonderful discussion. I know this is just an introduction because there is so much more to discuss with you about herbalism, about Ayurveda, how and Bhagavad Gita, and other things that you have experienced in life. And I'm pretty sure those experiences have happened for a purpose. That, as you said, it's a prasad from Ishvara. whether it is the ICU experience that you had. There are more details that I want to discuss with you in the future sessions, and this is like an introduction to you, introduction of introducing you to my audience, and then we'll go more, delve into more details in the future. And I hope we'll get to learn a lot from you again, and I request you to give us that opportunity. And it is like, because Swami Dayananda Saraswati Ji is not with us in physical form at this time, but he left people like you in this world to learn from you. So I hope I'll get the opportunity again to discuss more about in the details of it. So thanks a lot for your time. Okay. Dear audience, I hope you find this session interesting. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel so that I can bring more such experts, and also Irfan again. And also please check out the other videos on my channel where I am sharing healthy and Ayurveda recipes. See you next time. Thanks a lot, Irfan, once again. Namaste. Bye.